Hello, this is Reverend Angelia with today's Bible reading. Today's reading is from 1 Corinthians 15, the resurrection of Christ. Now, brothers, I want to remind you of the gospel I preached to you, which you received and on which you have taken your stand. By this gospel you are saved, if you hold firmly to the word I preached to you. Otherwise, you have believed in vain. For what I received I passed on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, that he was buried, and that he was raised on the third day according to the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Peter and then to the 12. After that, he appeared to more than 500 of the brothers at the same time. And sisters were there too. Most of whom are still living at this time this was written, not now. Though some have fallen asleep. I'm pretty sure most of them have by now, unless you believe in that whole conspiracy theory that some of the disciples are still alive. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles. The last of all, he appeared to me also, as to one abnormally born. For I am the least of the apostles, and do not even deserve to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace to me was not without effect. Because remember, Paul was against the apostles. He was, leading raids to arrest and kill the apostles of Jesus. So, yeah, he's right about that. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace to me was not without effect. Because when he saw Jesus out there on the road, he said, why do you persecute me? I'm Jesus who you persecute. And it changed his whole heart and his whole soul. And then he became a preacher for Jesus. And a lot of the disciples, I don't know if you watch on Netflix, AD, Kingdom and Empire, and it's got a pretty good, show to talk about what went on after Jesus died. And so it's worth a look if you haven't watched that. And it goes into a lot about Saul, who became Paul, and, what his life was like. No, I worked harder than all of them. Yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. That's why some of the apostles had a problem with him. They were like, he's too good to be true, He was wanting to kill us like a couple days ago, and now suddenly, he's the greatest, preacher of Jesus. So they had their doubts about him. Whether, then, it was I or they, this is what we preach, and this is what you believe. So he's saying, whether you listen to them, whether you listen to me, we're both preaching the same thing. That Jesus Christ was the Son of God, that he died for our sins and was resurrected on the third day, because, he took our burden of sin. We couldn't do it. He said that none of us were perfect. All of us were going to fall short of the grace of God. So he did that for us so that we could be saved and come into God's presence in the end. And that's why I tell people about being martyrs. You don't have to do that. Because Jesus did that for you. Yes, it's good if you can be a good person. And some people, believe that, if you let people run all over you, your reward's going to be all the greater in heaven. But if you let people run all over you, how effective are you going to be, if you're trying to get a message to people? If you walk away, or if you don't finish what you have to say, because they're coming against you and persecuting you, then you're not an effective witness. Just, that's my opinion. So, like I said, we don't have to be martyrs, because Jesus did that for us. So we can stand up and be who we are, and by that I mean the good people that we are, and live in God's plan for your life. I don't mean, do anything you want to and then say, oh, I repent. No, that doesn't fly. You're going to be held responsible for everything you do. So, even if it's something that's going on and you and God have an understanding, and by that I mean God knows what you're up to. Everybody else might know what you're up to, and you might be, having to be in a certain situation one way and make it look like something else legally. Who knows? I don't know. But, God knows your heart. So that's the person you need to be worried about is, him, not a person. But he knows what's going on with you. But anyway, until next time.